Welcome to episode 14 of Command Value 1, where we are only 0 points and have 4 inches of influence. We're back from Origins. I'm here with Don.
Hello.
And Jordan.
Heyo.
And I'm Drek. And let's just jump right into what's new, because it's been an exciting time.
There's nothing new.
It really doesn't feel that way, because the Battle of Earth has been coming for so long. But it's here. We now officially have the Battle for Earth. We have new dice. We have new command cards. We have a fresh perspective on life. We have a new army builder. We have the potential of a Stellaris Kickstarter in the future. A lot of new stuff. Don, you're the TT guy. I know we just spent like the last week with you, but talk to us.
Yes, all those things and more. So the Battle for Earth New York board is now available. Brand new awesome set of terrain, including recessed roads. Or I guess those could be like some sort of storm drains or something like that if you really want them to be. And then also 2 new show-only models. So you have the Thresher for the Pungari deploy everything ship that everybody can use. So that's kind of interesting. And then the Columbus Walker for Zone. So that's going to PHR, Resistance, and UCM.
The Columbus Walker that was first available in the States in Columbus, Ohio.
It was not at UK Games Expo?
Yeah, that one was at UK, I think.
I don't think the UK Games Expo takes place in the United States.
So first US appearance.
If I am mistaken, please let me know.
Well, the English language is funny in that first available in the United States. Is it like the first place in the United States that it was available, or it was available in the United States before anywhere else? See? Commas are important. Let's eat, Grandma.
What else was new? God, so much new stuff. New show only stuff was the female plague doctor for Carnivale. Carnival. New Carney mini. Start calling it Carney. Is that okay?
Man, you call it what you got to call it.
And that was one of our first designs. One of our new in-house designers. I thought it was a pretty cool model.
The plague doctor?
Yeah.
Plague doctress?
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Who knows? Maybe that'll design work will fall into some new zone infantry eventually. I know Dave hates doing infantry, so probably lean on the other designers for those.
So I'm sitting here playing with my Columbus Walker, one of the 3 I picked up.
In front of us?
Well, yeah, that's why I got my camera off, so you can't see me fondling it. This little bastard's big.
Yeah, bigger than I expected, too.
Like, he does not look like a little scout vehicle. He is a big old SOB.
But I guess it kind of makes sense since it's pre-war. Everything was chunkier back then.
Overbuilt.
Yeah.
Overarmed.
Super overgunned. Thing's got so many weapons on it.
It does have a lot of guns.
Well, I mean, a couple of them are options, so.
Well, the options are AA or Flame.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's machine guns, missiles.
Just a couple weapons on that little Walker's dealio. So question is, are you going straight legs or are you going 2 front, 2 back?
I put my legs on properly.
Oh, when I build mine, I'm going to do them the way that Dave designed them.
Yeah, that's not the way I did it. I love Dave and his design work, but there was one time when I looked at his work and went, no.
I think I'm going to make mine on its hind legs, though, howling at the moon or something weird.
You have one leg lifted out. All I can picture is the cartoons of the AT-ATs taking a leak on a...
Right.
Pee in your general direction.
So I feel like if we start talking about Battle for Earth and all this fun stuff right up front now, that we're not going to get to any of the other stuff, and we'll just end up babbling about Battle for Earth for an hour. So do we want to go through the hobby recaps, all that fun stuff, and then kind of focus on on the new stuff?
We also didn't really say a whole lot about Origins other than we were there.
We were there. I was there for almost the whole show. I bailed on Sunday to save my marriage.
So the show was great. It was actually the first Origins I've worked in and actually enjoyed being there.
You're welcome.
Partially because of you guys, but also...
but also because of Terrell and Alex.
Yeah. Well, I think it was nice having the... so our biggest seller this year was the terrain, for sure. Right, Derek?
Yeah, I was like trying to scoop my butt back in my chair, and the arm slid, and I almost fell out. And just whole thing almost turned into a ridiculous catastrophe.
God, such a drama queen.
It's hell being a really fat lady. It's hard to move all this around, man. It's not Jesus Christ.
So, anyways, yeah, the train sold great. So, and I think that was probably
sit here and pant.
That's probably what. Can you stop interrupting me? So, anyways, I think that was kind of like helped the mood a bit this year. It was in years past. It's a hard show for miniatures games. It really is. People are there for mostly for board games. You know, you get a lot of people walk up and they found out they got to build and paint, and there's not grids on your place space, and they just hate you for it. So it was nice having that terrain there, and it was easy sales for the most part. Carnivale, I think, was actually probably one of our best-selling games for the weekend as far as the actual games go. Went through quite a few two-player sets, which was pretty cool. People were digging the theme.
I ran a bunch of version 2 demos that first day, and that went over well.
Yeah,
at least with the people I ran it for.
Jordan had some good demos going too.
Rumble Slam was like nonstop the entire time.
Oh yeah, that game's always constantly going. So, what else is... Battle for Earth. Obviously, we had the book there and the cards. It's still okay. It's sold about as well as I expected, to be honest with you.
Resistance Fleet
didn't fly off the shelf, but it was consistent, which is what I expected for that show. Because, like I said, it's not much of a miniatures convention, so most of those sales went to people that were there to get the book. Then, the Resistance Fleet as well. So we had some really good reception to that. It was fun showing off the sprues and explaining all the combinations we could do with all that stuff.
100 billion.
I don't think it was 100 billion. I think it was 1.2 billion for the cruiser and only a measly 10 million for the frigates.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. Yeah. Dave really slacked off on the frigate design.
Right. I was actually, when I was talking with Dave a couple of days ago, he's going to write up a blurb. So that what I want to do is just pick a corner of the stand and have like some sort of literature out there, and the space station and Resistance Fleet starters out there explaining the kits and how versatile they are. And I'm hoping that'll draw in people who want those for their own space games and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I think they're just amazing kits, and they really need to get out there a bit more.
I had more than a few conversations with people talking about the Traveler games and how convenient the Resistance Fleet would be for that.
What's that? I don't know that.
Traveler's an RPG where you travel through space on a spaceship.
So I've had a lot of people come up and just look at even the other ships. There's enough modularity with them that even the other ships get picked over and used for other games and other purposes, I think, sometimes, too.
I did see a couple starters went out the door this past weekend. People that don't play the game, they're just picking it up because they thought they looked sweet.
Well, speaking of spaceships, one of the other things that got a lot of attention was that big-ass Stellaris advertisement that you guys had up on the end of the booth.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was right next to the Drop Fleet demo. So many people were assuming that, this is the Stellaris game, huh?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you got a lot of comments thinking that was the game. Yeah,
I was like, no, this is our other game.
Oh, okay. Poor placement. Sorry about that.
And the people that were interested were like really interested in Stellaris.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had almost nothing we could say about it at the moment. So,
Right.
But it got the interest out there, and I made sure everybody had a card to sign up for the newsletters, so they can find out more information when we're available to send more out. So, and for those who don't know, we are producing a tabletop version of Stellaris. It will be a dual Kickstarter. One will be in limited edition ship, and then the full Kickstarter itself.
Aether Drake, not a ship.
It's a space thing.
It's a living organism, you monster.
Wait, isn't the space dragon the monster, though?
Maybe.
Huh?
Maybe. It's a matter of perspective. The meme that's been running around is for a lot. It depends on your perspective. Dollars? No. Murders? Yes.
Well, that's also perspective too. What type of environment are we in? If it was Hunger Games, that's not very good. You need more than 4 murders.
But I mean, Hunger Games would be more homicide.
Hey, do we want to talk about Huey Lewis again?
We are part of the fan club, so
The Huey Lewis fan club? Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's disappointing to announce that Don's special guest for the MGT tournaments is not going to make it. Huey Lewis has turned us down.
Yes. Apparently, put him up in a room.
Charisma Carpenter. She turned me down multiple times at Origins. I was really disappointed.
Who's that?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was the cheerleader.
Oh, okay. I did not.
Seriously, you don't know who Charisma Carpenter is?
No,
she is not hard to look at.
I did not watch Buffy.
She's been in other things, like off the top of my head, The Expendables.
Okay, I watched that like once.
Only once? How are we friends?
Joe versus the volcano.
How are we friends?
Now that I've watched multiple times.
I've not watched once.
Either? You haven't watched The Expendables or Joe versus the volcano?
No, I've watched The Expendables. I just haven't watched Joe versus volcano.
That's because you have taste.
Ah, jeez, you guys, you don't know nothing.
Well,
so moving forward on Origins,
we've all got game recaps because we spent like the week together playing games. So how do we want to address that? Jordan bought a copy of Terraforming Mars. I
did not get to play because I was too busy building demo sets that I had forgotten.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's funny. I really enjoyed that far more than I thought I was going to. Even though Jordan cheated and put Terrell in third place. It was a good time. You guys, what?
I mean, it was a bit unfair in that I had a few games under my belt, and that was the first time for you guys.
Yeah, but like so many games, I was just like, I'm going to try to do everything I can to blow something up and see if I can win. And the strategy served me well. I came in second. I was leading for a while.
Well, I was in last till the game ended.
Yeah, and then you cheated your way to the top.
I did.
We also played Too Many Bones because you guys were trying to impress the Chesney.
He wasn't even there.
No. You know, and that it was a frustrating game until it clicked, and I was like, "Oh, I got this."
Well, you had a pretty difficult character that you were playing with as well, so that none of us had played before.
Well, and Jordan's like, "Here, play the robot," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'll play the combat robot. That speaks to me." Yeah, he was interesting. That is a game that looks like it's worth. It looks like you can see where every bit of that $130 price tag went on it.
Yeah. There isn't
Like,
a detail spared in that game, that's for sure.
like I don't want to spend $130 to own a copy of that game, but I certainly understand why it cost $130. Like all the character cards being neoprene and all the dice being custom and really nice. And I mean, it was just a very nicely put together game.
Indeed, it is. And they have these really cool tabletoppers at their booth too, that from the same company that did that.
Mm-hmm.
All neoprene and hemmed around the edges too for their demo stuff. It's pretty slick.
Yeah. And it is a fun game. I mean, if you're a role player, it's like an RPG light. Good times.
So what else did we play then?
I bought Blood Red Skies at the Warlord booth, and it is my new obsession. I can love that game. I almost bought it last year, and I put it off because I was afraid this would happen. But we got a game of that in, and then we went back and played another round of Terraforming Mars. And I started secretly looking to see what new airplanes I needed to buy.
We also played one game, even though you two didn't play it, of Edition Wars.
Oh yeah, I walked in on that. Oh, we were over getting the pizza at that point, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were watching Star Trek on Netflix.
So Edition Wars is a fairly simple card game where rival game masters battle over potential players for their game groups. And let's see, there's there's swag, which is like permanents that
fully painted miniature set.
Yep. They're like artifacts that you can use over and over. And then there was other cards that are kind of like one-off instance. And then you use your currency to battle each other with was it merchandise, blogging power, and swag and shoot, I can't remember the last one off the top of my head.
I know I've played that with you at least once, but it was a long time ago.
If you're an old school gamer, if you're a role player, it definitely hits home in a lot of stereotypes. And
yeah, it does.
It's either, yeah, I know this guy, or I understand that, or I wish I didn't resemble this guy that much.
That's funny because it's true.
The funniest part about getting that game is I think I picked it up shortly after I built my game table. And the game table swag card in that game looks exactly like my game table.
It is an impressive game table. Did we play anything else while we were out at Origins this last week?
We played Dodge the Hipsters.
Okay, I'm sorry, because it's one of my favorite stories from the con. We went to dinner at this little place down High Street in Columbus called the local Cantina. And we get there, and three of us are larger men, right? So we're sitting there waiting for a table, and they offer us one, and the lady looks at a couple of us, and she's like, "You guys aren't going to fit in this table." So they ask us if we want to share a table with this other group. It's a big table in the center of the restaurant, seats 10, 5 of us, 5 of them. So we're like, yeah, if they don't mind us being offensive, then we certainly can share a booth with them, or a table with them. So we're all still, we've just come from the con. We're all still in our TT Combat shirts, except for Don and Jordan, who have like put hoodies on because for some reason now they've turned into women and are freezing.
It was raining.
So we sit down at the table, drink orders go around, and this dude sitting next to Don, and I mean, it's like the juxtaposition of life right here is you've got Don, hat, glasses, tattoos, And this dude is a textbook hipster. I'm pretty sure he had a turtleneck on, beard, big glasses. I mean, just looks at us and says, and I'm quoting, "What's with the shirts? Are you guys part of a trivia team?"
Now, I will earmark it was trivia night at the local cantina.
Which we didn't know. And we should have started a team because we had 16 out of 10 points in the first round.
That's right.
And I could have eaten more queso and chips because, I would have just kept eating till I exploded.
That's definitely a favorite haunt for us now over there. It's me and Jordan actually went back on the Sunday night, had another round of tacos and chips and salsa.
Dude, I got nachos the last time we were there, and those nachos were excellent. Like, I've wanted those nachos again since we left.
There was a big pile of nachos, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was tasty.
But you weren't allowed to have them.
Because they're nachos! I hate you. So finish up game recaps. I had to play in the Drop Fleet tournament. Because Rasmus overslept. Who o'darned? Did you o'darn, Don?
Yes, I did.
Now, see, if I have to play in a tournament, like I want to play in the Drop Zone one, the Drop Fleet one is not like the, oh yeah, I get to play 3 rounds of Drop Fleet. But I placed in the middle of the pack. So as I've been talking for a while on here, I ran the escalation tournament. It's 3 rounds, 500,000, 2,000. And we were still time crunched. I think that's just the nature of Fleet. I don't think that game plays fast. I got to turn 6 and finished one of the 3 games I played, and that was 1,000.1. But everyone seemed to enjoy it. Everyone seemed to have a good time. They seemed to like the format. They liked building lists and the custom scenarios and all that fun stuff. There is a battle report of my games at that tournament up on the Gamer Direct channel, and Josh recorded the entirety of all 3 of his rounds, which is also up on his Scald channel. So if you want to go check those out, go for it. Drop Zone in escalation, though, holy crap. We were so far ahead of schedule. Round 1, we started, and I think everyone was done within an hour at the 500-point game. We dinked around a little bit and reset and started the 1,000-point game, and we were done an hour before we were scheduled for lunch. We took a 2-hour lunch. Pride Parade was that day. We went down to the food court and got lunch, kind of lollygagged, came back, still started a half hour early from when we were supposed to, and that tournament was over before 4 o'clock. Now it was 3 experienced players and one player who kind of knew what he was doing, but was just playing to have fun. But again, I really liked the format. I liked how fast it was and how easy it was to run and how I didn't feel like my brain had turned to mush when it was done. And I wish we would have gotten Josh on here to have a conversation with him. He had a lot to say about it. I don't know if this is like the format to replace all formats, but if you're running a tournament where you have a finite amount of time, it seems like a nice way to go.
It's good for game stores for sure, because a lot of times you don't have the amount of time that you would normally like, especially if the store closes earlier, that kind of stuff.
Now, the only changes I would make to this format is with Fleet, I would go 500, 1,000, 1,500, not take it all the way up to the 2,000 mark.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah. With Zone, I would probably actually make it 750, and then either $9.99 or $12.50, depending on how you feel about it, and then $17.50, since that'll be the new meta. I'd probably do it in the 500-point increments, but starting at $7.50, because that 500-point Zone list is a hard thing to pull off. But that's it.
Basically a starter set.
Yeah. But that's it. If you're interested in the tournament pack, it should be up on the Ohio group. I think it's in the Command Value 1 group, and it's in the main Drop Zone group on Facebook. Excuse me, I'm boring myself. You can take a look at tournament pack there. You can take a look at battle reports on the Gamer Drek and Scald channels. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Let's go on the hobby. Jordan.
Well, I'd also like to point out that if you did enjoy the beta rules, that's the last updated version you'll receive of that since the book's out now. Yes,
that was the end. I had a couple of people who were like, "Why didn't we just play version 2 rules?" And I'm like, "Dude, I literally got the book Wednesday."
Right? Yeah, I just got the book at the end of the previous week, so
yeah. I got the book 2 days ago, and yes, I've been running demos, but I'm not sure that I wanted to try an entire tournament out of it,
or that how they would even have known how to play that game before then.
Right. Well, we'll talk about that more when we get into the rules, I guess. But hobby-wise, Jordan, you got anything? You done anything since the last time we talked?
I think so. I've been painting a few Gloomhaven characters. I don't know if that was...
You started that last time we were recording.
You did? I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah.
It might have been before then.
There's like 16 Gloomhaven figures, so, you know.
And then, well, I've got the MDF organizer for it together, which was like 24 2-foot by 2-foot sheets of MDF to...
Oh, God, I remember you building that.
You're like, this is one of 20 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a pretty big undertaking. Worked on some more drop zone buildings in the meantime.
Yeah, I got a couple more buildings put together now from Origins. What about you, Don? Anything interesting?
I've been painting some stuff for the display cases over here, and this week, since we've gotten back, I've been having to put together a full table's worth of Infinity stuff for the Ruckus tournament coming up this weekend here.
Speaking of stuff for the display cases, you son of a sea bass. Where was the behemoth this week?
It wasn't done. It was still in pieces.
You're a horrible person.
It's a project, man. It's big.
Excuses make you weak, Don.
That's all right.
You can't expedite perfection, right, Don?
Exactly.
I know. I'm just trying to expedite Don's painting.
Oh.
So yeah, but I'll have all that stuff done for Gen Con.
Oh, yeah, well,
whether I get sleep before then or not is yet to be shown.
No sleep till Gen Con?
Right.
No sleep till Gen Con.
It's such a sad version of that song. Even as a nerd parody, it's pretty bad.
No sleep till New Detroit.
Yeah.
Hey. Spoilers.
Not new Columbus, Ohio, New Detroit. That's right.
Yes, because the old one was a cesspool. They had to build a new one. Yay for you!
I mean,
if
a place is abandoned, can it really be a cesspool?
I would like to point out that some of the stuff I'm building is the new Infinity stuff that we put out, the new Infinity train, and it's actually pretty cool. So one thing I hadn't noticed is on the comms tower building, there's just in the pictures, it just looks like regular green advertisements, like neon acrylic. But when you actually get it and you look at it in person, they even burned it so the bottoms of the advertisements start fading away in like digital pattern.
Cool.
It was really cool. Yeah, I've never seen anything like that.
I didn't really come through on the photos you sent.
Not that one. It's the comms tower, which I haven't finished yet.
Oh, okay.
So the other thing that was kind of cool is the one I did send you guys was the barrier, the new barriers with the green acrylic barriers.
Mm-hmm.
They have corner pieces that have several slots on it, so you can actually adjust those walls however you want. So they're just it's in a square on the packaging and in the picture. And I don't think that the images show it off well enough, but it's very modular. So you could easily do a hexagon, and you could put several of those kits together and form a huge barrier. And then they have the door areas. Actually, you can manually slide them up and down to like a disc that goes into the top part. So you can have it, if you hack a door or a door panel, you can then open that door panel up. It's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Pretty impressed with that kit so far. So kudos to the guys at the office on those ones.
Every MDF kit, they're getting better and better at it.
They are. We really are putting on some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's so I bought the castle at Gen Con, and that's like an old kit. And even that's impressive.
It was weighty.
Huge.
I'm looking forward to when you get to that thing, because I'm curious how much work that's going to be.
It's back on the back corner of my table, and I keep looking at it. I'm like, nope, not yet. I gotta space. I got that, and the Tyrosis building, and the Chrysler building, and some doors for Zombicide. My paint table's got 10 Goblin Archers on it that are 3/4 painted. But so Tuesday, I succumbing to the con crud, I just called in. I was like, I'm not doing this, and I slept in. And then one of my wife's cousin, who's back from Missouri, came over for like her 4 kids, and I'm like, oh, screw that. I hid in the basement. And I painted the entire starter for Blood Red Skies.
Yeah.
I happen to have just Iron Crosses lying about, because who doesn't, right?
Exactly.
But I didn't have any REF symbols, so my Spitfires aren't done. I'm going to have to order. Do I call them decals? Is that the British way of saying it?
Right.
I'm going to have to order decals for my Spitfires, but I did a rough approximation of a proper historical paint job on all 12 of those planes very quickly, and I mean, I'm happy with them for the size of the model. And there's a lot of detail in them. Really surprising.
I thought they turned out good. The picture you showed us looked good.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the Spitfires. I mean, the Messerschmitts are just they're gray. So what are you going to do? I did a couple of wing patterns on them, and I did a yellow nose for the wing leader. But other than that, I'll be a little more excited when I get some FW190s, because those will have a little more color to them. But now I can start waxing historical nerd here, and I'm gonna go at MGT end up being a Sarge. So, sorry guys, it was nice knowing you, but playing Bolt Action and Blood Red Skies combined. They've got a combined Bolt Action Blood Red Skies game going on. So
if you can, what day?
Friday, I think.
Oh, there you go.
Is that zone? No, Saturday.
Yeah, that's Saturday, Sunday. So Friday's it's Rumble Slam, which obviously you don't play. So
yeah,
you should play in that and have some fun. Can you get down Friday?
Jordan and I were talking about that today. We're gonna try. I have to make sure Mrs. Cyber will let me go, but maybe it wasn't Friday. I can't remember. But it's $0. It's a free to play event.
Oh, really?
And
Wow.
It's an intro event, and they're providing all the models.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, sweet. I can go try out Bolt Action. I can try out Blood Red Skies. And John was selling me on this when we were at Origins. I was having a conversation with him because they did it at Gen Con last year, and they had Bolt Action, Cruel Seas, and Blood Red Skies all side by side.
Oh, wow.
So the Cruel Seas game, it was U.S. Marines versus Japan. So the Cruel Seas game was Japan was trying to land reinforcements on the island, and the U.S. patrol boats were trying to pop the Japanese troop transports.
Okay.
So if they were successful, then the Japanese wouldn't get reinforced. If they failed, then the Japanese would get additional troops in. And then the flip side of that was that the U.S. was trying to send in bombing runs, and the Japanese were trying to prevent those bombing runs. So the Blood Red Skies game's going on over here. If the bomber got over the target area, then the Blood Red Skies player would go over the table and drop bombing templates on the bolt action table.
Nice.
And you just wipe out Japanese formations. And he said they did this before with Germany and Russia. And he said the Germans were completely enveloping the left flank on the Russians, and they were just screwed. And a couple of ILs got through and just made a couple of strafing runs and obliterated an entire squad of troops and broke the flank. I'm like, all right, man, you talked me into it. I'll come play.
I mean, I think it's just the format in general is always really fun.
Yeah.
When you have interaction between separate games in the same universe.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, moment of truth here. Battle for Earth is out. Do we want to talk about it?
No.
So I want to be careful here. I don't want to go too far to the side of fellatio on the game here. Nor do I want to go too far to the side of trying to take a dump on it. I want to honestly talk about opinions and good and bad. So, beautiful book. I mean, there's so much art in that book. It is ridiculous. Have either of you really looked through it? Am I the only one that's reading it right now?
I've skimmed through it. I saw the artwork, and I've perused the background. Which, I mean, I knew a lot of the stuff in passing, just from, of course, being a part of the development of it or whatever. But I've not scoured front to back yet. So
I knew a little bit about this as well because Jordan and I have our names in the book as playtesters.
You do, Jordan.
We're important.
Or we like to think we are anyway.
We like to think we're important. So if there's anything you as listeners don't like about this book, that is not something Jordan and I worked on. That was probably Kirill or Overlord Shivak.
Definitely Josh's fault.
Maybe the Swede. I can't guarantee. But you may see that there's a lot of people that come onto this show who are involved in this, and we may all just be like a really tight playtest group, and who knows, right? So anyways, gorgeous book, minimal reprint art. And even when there is reprint art, I'm like, yeah, but that was such a good piece of Patrice art that I'm happy to see it again.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's written from this. It's almost like reading a history textbook. And I know that might sound boring to some people, but I mean, I just spent 15 minutes getting my jollies off talking about bolt action and Blood Red Sky, so history is kind of a thing for me. Tons of just info.
I think some of my favorite narrative stuff in there are the one-off, like 2-3 paragraph bits above a piece of artwork.
So I was telling Jordan that as I was reading through it, one of the most exciting pieces that I read was entirely Resistance Space, regarding Carl Foley and Salicon.
Yeah.
And I was like, legitimately, I'm reading the page and I'm like creeping off my chair. I'm like, yes. So it was very satisfying. It didn't stay very satisfying because I read on, but but I digest.
I think my favorite bit in there's a piece of artwork that shows a lady and her son.
Oh my God, I love that piece of art with the razor worms.
And there's 2 razor worms in the structure that they're in.
Yeah.
And it's such a terrifying piece because she's holding her son and she's got her hand over his mouth so he doesn't scream so the worms don't hear him.
The one razor worm's right behind them.
Right, exactly. And then I won't read any of the narrative or anything like that, but it's pretty scary situation that they were in. And what do? You're sitting there with your child and
you're gonna be eaten by Shai Halud.
Right. So pretty crazy stuff. Yeah, it definitely creates an environment. So I think that's one thing you kind of lose is even if it's a good narrative book, as far as the fluff of the universe and all that goes, you just kind of you read it and then you start playing game after game after game, and you kind of lose the environment a little bit, and it's just more of the strategy and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get the new book out, and you're like, oh yeah, I forget how like terrifying some of these things are really supposed to be.
Well, so anyone that has listened to me talk shit about all the other factions knows that I could sell off 4 of my 5 armies and be perfectly content and happy still playing Zone or Fleet. I love my Republic. I have no interest in playing the Resistance Fleet. I have no desire to play the Resistance Fleet. But I would love to build a starter just for the joy of it. That said, I may buy grand battleships just to own them.
You like them that much?
They look so freaking cool.
Yeah.
I love the Trident. I don't dislike the Olympus. I liked the Centurion design when it came out, so these other Grand Cruisers having a very similar design don't offend me.
Yeah.
I am not enough of a fleet player to sit here and nitpick the fleet building aspect of the Resistance. I defer to guys like Josh and Patrick who play fleet at a much higher level than me. And they've made some comments about some concerns that they've had, but overall, I don't think there's anything wrong that a quicker route is not going to fix as far as like point costs go. I think a lot of it comes down to pointing.
Well, this is where streamlining kind of comes into play a little bit here. So you play test something, and then you get it pretty much perfect, and then it gets streamlined a little bit for the sake of, I mean, it's one bad thing about when you're doing writing rules is you get stuck in your head a little bit, and you're like, well, this would be cool, and this would be cool. So the office kind of reels it in a little bit. They're like, that's a bit too much stuff right there. We need to tie it back a little bit, and then
and let me reiterate, I'm not dumping on any of this. I really just think there's just a couple of some point adjustments that need to be made.
Right, and so I was just kind of trying to explain how like a few of these errors might have slipped past us. So when you're working on a bigger team,
mm-hmm.
There's a couple more chefs than you're used to in the kitchen, and sometimes things get slipped by. So
there's also a very large volume of stuff to deal with all at one time as well.
That's true.
Correct.
There's a ton of content.
A little bit of an undertaking.
The great thing about that, though, with Fleet now that we have the Army generator, though, is that it's living stats, and we're going to be able to see those adjustments a lot quicker to the meta, which I think is nice. Great. I'm not going to sit here and go over Dreadnought stats or anything, but I will say I like monitors.
They're interesting for those who don't have the book. So the monitors are not all of them are actually monitors. So they all started out as monitors. I think every one of them. No, I think the Pollux, the one PHR.
Well, when it comes to monitors, the PHR ones are the ones I least like aesthetically.
Yeah.
I love the Istanbul. I love the Vienna. I think the UCM monitors are awesome looking.
So the approach we took during the playtesting of those was, like I said, they were all pretty much monitors except for the Aegis ship for PHR, because that was an obvious not monitor. They had to be an escort ship. There was a lot of redundancy. So we were looking at these units initially that Dave sent us. We were like, yes, that's cool, but like there's already better versions, or if we make this a better version of it, then we're also obsoleting the other ships and stuff like that. So we kind of looked at what they needed, and that's how a few of them ended up not becoming an actual monitors.
So I can certainly see the caster being useful. Fusillade 4, lock 4, attack 4, so that's 8 shots on 4 up for 50 points. That's not bad at all. The Pollux, on the other hand, I'm very excited to be able to field because Aegis 7 is something as a PHR player. Thank you.
But
I need that.
You already had the annoying, you can't hit my other ship.
The PHR?
Yeah, I can't remember what
Calypso?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I don't use Calypsos. It's a frigate.
Yeah, that one's
frigates are beneath me.
It really isn't that bad though. It's no Opal, that's for sure.
Heavy Void Gate is an interesting choice for the Shaltari.
Yeah, it's something that we've actually been trying to push Dave on for a while now. In fact, the destroyer, the little mini mothership, was
home ship.
We were trying to actually implement that as a both home ship and heavy void gate, and Dave wasn't having it, so we finally got our way here.
So I'm just kind of thumbing through the book, looking at stuff. So now here I am. I'm at the drop zone rules, and Don, what is your favorite change between version 1 and version 2?
Favorite change is shared transports.
All right. Jordan, what is your favorite change?
I think I got to agree with that.
Yeah. You had more to say?
No.
Okay.
Should we do 2 then, since me and Jordan are agreeing on the...
Sure. If you've got another one.
I think my second favorite thing is actually more of a unit change, and that's that we're implementing standard versions of the famous commanders for the most part.
Right. Thank God for that, because the Tiamat needs to be in every PHR list.
I mean, just all of them are really cool. Like the tilt rotor, ever since we did the tilt rotor, which was the what's his name?
Let's
Strike Hawk.
Let's talk about that Strike Hawk and son of a whore.
Cortez.
How is it an auxiliary choice while my poor Nord is stuck as a heavy choice?
That you'll have to ask the office. That was an internal change that.
I have, and they said they'd get back to me. They're discussing it.
Honestly, I think that's going to get changed back enough. People are like, WTF.
Yeah, so we'll get to things that I dislike or I'm questioning, but
another big like for version 2 is, and we've been playing them a little bit with the betas, but expanded environmental rules, so it's not just buildings.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. And that was actually something that came out of the office even more so, like tenfold. So we just had like the forest brought in and some barricades that we were using. And the whole
office
slew.
Is pushing it to like a dangerous level. I'm like, guys, we don't need wheat fields.
You never know. I might want some wheat fields.
It's cool, guys. Wheat fields do not have to provide us any DP.
Man, I tell you what, though, I didn't know I would need wheat fields until I saw them put down wheat fields. I might need some wheat fields.
What if I'm in a cornfield?
Same thing. Corn giving you more protection than wheat.
I think it's denser. Energy.
I think you'll find stalkers
armor.
In there.
Oh.
But a bump. Energy plus a D6 versus armor. Stupid, simple, streamline. Great for the game, especially for new players.
Yeah, no, that's a good one too, for sure. There's definitely a lot of good ones in there. I think some of the common, even though there's a little bit of cleaning up that needs to happen as far as interactions go, I do like that some of the special rules are cleaned up into like combined into one rule and some things like that. So a couple less things you got to really worry about.
So, I mean, it's easy to pick out things that we like. What is something that is a concern to you or that you don't like?
My biggest one for sure is I really, really like the strike, the airstrikes, buying the airstrikes.
Over the model on the table.
Over the model. Yeah, I just really like that mechanic. I brought airstrikes into every list I had. And then now I'm kind of back to, do I really want to spend the points and occupy?
I think with the proper, I do a lot of this when I'm looking at things now. I think with the proper point adjustment, that is a rule that works, but I don't think at rule as written with aircraft, I can't justify bringing 120 point Athena.
That I really don't like the idea of them being on the board for more than just going through and doing an attack run. Like I never liked, in the old version, I hated the slow runs, which is why towards the end of the beta that was removed.
Well, it worked for stuff like the Seraphim.
Not really though. Like the play space is too small. Like even at a slow run, an aircraft like that is not going to be hovering above that space for more than just dropping its payload once.
Yeah, you can convince me that.
And if anything, that aircraft should actually be much higher than you would even see on that board, because it's dropping bombs, so it doesn't need to be.
No, man, you don't understand how the Halo system works, apparently.
So, but anyways, that's my
step off.
That's my big get off my lawn moment there.
Jordan, what's your the thing that you're least thrilled about in version 2?
Call me an old grognard.
Old grognard.
I like the simultaneous close quarters. I'm not saying the new way's not going to work. I like the mechanic of not necessarily the extra phase, but just the attack and defense. That seemed to me the one thing that should happen at the same time.
I will not call you a grognard because CQB is one of my largest concerns with this new version of the game. In the demos that I ran, 50% of those demos, the CQB's success or failure came down to initiative rolls the next round. So usually I played Scourge. I would enter my warriors into the building, giving them Occupier's advantage. The Legionnaires would come in. They would activate. They would get 6 or 7 hits. They would re-roll. They'd take out 2-3 guys. If they won initiative the next turn, they would slaughter me whole.
Yes, but if you're only down 2 to 3 guys and you had activation first the next turn,
it would level the playing field.
No, you would slaughter them.
No, because you're still down a couple of dice.
Yeah, but just a couple.
And if you roll dice like me. So I don't like that because it brings CQB to the point where it's, you're burning your first activations to try to ensure that you can win a CQB every round.
But there was some of that already anyway, because demo games, it's hard to tell. So I'm going to reserve further judgment to a larger game.
I agree.
Because CQBs tended to be uneven.
We definitely need to play some more games. I am a little concerned about Valkyries and their ability to take out, Braves, because they're only energy 2.
That's just some tweaks then. So
that concerns me, though.
It does seem like any major concerns will be dealt with, so it's not going to be much of a fret for very long.
No. Overall, I'm pretty okay with it, and a lot of it really does seem to streamline. Since beta, though, battle grouping has been a frustration for me because as a PHR player, I am finding it harder and harder to access the heavies that were the backbone of my army for so long. Especially with the Nord being listed as a heavy.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting that one to change. It doesn't make any sense to have a transport in a non-transport slot. Or
I hope it does. That will make me very happy.
What's the backup slot now? Reserve? No.
Auxiliary.
Auxiliary, thank you.
Yep. I'm looking at it right now. So
getting a little
The only other thing I really hope to see a change on is maybe the retinue rule. And I don't know, are you guys familiar with the retinue rule? Do you have anything that uses it? I have 2 units in the PHR that use it, my Zeus and my Hera. And it allows me to attach them to another squad in a battle group. So I can take my Zeus and attach it to a trio of Odins in the heavy group. But that's where this gets convoluted. So say I want to do a Zeus, 2 Odins, and an Enyo and a Nord. I have to put my Zeus in my command group, put the Odins in the Enyo with the Nord in the armor group with like a Phobos or something to fulfill its like standard requirement. And then I have to attach my commander to the heavy group in order to make that command brick. As opposed to the old way where it was just Zeus and here's his retinue under my command squad.
I almost think that rule needs to be it's a slippery slope, but it almost needs to break the force organization and allow you to pair them up with the Zeus in the actual command group.
Well, and that's the way it worked in version 1. And
right, but the difference was that was legal. And
right.
Now you'd be breaking the rules, and then it kind of gets down to that point where like, well, where do you stop?
So, and I'll dial that back slightly to say that that really becomes a problem with things like the Nord, because I'm like, oh, well, I want that transport, but that makes that a heavy choice, which means that contributes to the point value, which means I've got 180 points in heavy walkers plus another 110 from that. And then I have to take a standard choice as well in order to make the group legal. And you start pushing point totals, and it gets really frustrating to get into list building. It also consolidates your list because you're taking your commander and putting it in your armor group. So, like I said, I'm fine with rethinking and relearning my meta, but some things it's like, well, I don't think that's the best way to handle that. And it's the same way with the Hera and the Hera Guardian. You can put them in your command group, but if you want to put Apollos in their retinue, you have to build a Vanguard group of Apollos and then attach your commanders to it.
Well, there's a difference between changing your meta and then having to shoehorn your way into playing a commander how it was originally intended,
Yeah.
And if that's not the intention anymore, then there should have been a change to the way that commander plays.
Right. Standardizing command values. Do we want to talk about the command deck?
Oh yeah, well that's actually a pretty good conversation to get into. So the command deck's interesting now. So there's no more repeat cards. Every card is a one-off, so that's kind of interesting. The other thing about it is it's now a deck build mechanic, and you build up to, is it 42 cards?
30 cards.
30 cards.
30 cards, yeah. So
because the base deck is 30. The base generic deck is 30 cards.
Yeah. So when the faction cards come out, you'll be able to build your deck to the taste of your army. That also includes, you don't have to, if you want to, you can take no core deck cards.
And just run your faction deck.
You could if you want to. So just to show you the choices you have in there.
I'm hoping that the faction deck in some capacity includes some duplicates, because only having one espionage in my entire deck is disconcerting. So
I was told that the faction decks will incorporate a form of espionage as well.
That's good to know.
I don't know if that's changed, but that's what I was told. Obviously, the concern was exactly what you said. There's only one.
Yeah. Because when I read that for the first time, I'm like, wait, no, that's not. Now, the flip side of that is playing Drop Fleet. I had like 3 espionages in my hand. I'm like, Jesus Christ, do I think in my deck other than espionage?
So the other thing about the decks, too, is that you do not shuffle when you run out of cards. When you run out of cards, you are out of deck.
Yikes.
So this goes for all those people who would like to cycle their cards fast. yes, that's great, but keep in mind that when you discard, you're basically losing that card. So you really have to think a bit more about, do I really want to cycle through? And hopefully you should be building your deck properly enough that most of those cards in there aren't, not something you'd want at any particular time throughout your game. So,
well, and if you're taking a high enough CV too, I mean, I don't know a lot of people that run CV5s or CV6s, so cycling through your deck shouldn't be that big a deal.
Yep. So maybe that'll be interesting. Yeah. So it comes down to, because there's only one-off cards, you're not going to get the repeat, and you're not getting that card back if you drop it. Is it worth the extra points so that you can stash that card in your hand for longer?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Indeed.
So, yep.
Well, we are creeping past the hour mark, and I'm sure we can do entire episodes on the Battle for Earth, and we probably should. We should probably get back together and start doing faction breakdowns and talking about, how the units have changed and how the list building affects it, and maybe bring in some people who are more familiar with some of the other armies and have those conversations. But we should do that another time.
Yep. So future episodes that we'd like to do sooner than later is get Dave back on. I
wouldn't complain about talking to Dave again.
Yeah. So, and he's been kind of itching.
Who wants to hear from Dave?
He's been itching to get back on anyways. He had a good time last time. He likes talking with us. So we'll get him back on. And then now that the major chaos, currently anyways, at the office has slowed down, I think we should really give Lewis a good shot on the podcast here to get some...
Lewis doesn't want to talk to us. Lewis doesn't like me.
Get some actual Rumble Slam and Carnivale discussions going on here.
I'm pretty sure he calls me the fat, stupid American.
I mean, that's most of us, right?
We're all fat by British standards.
Goes hand in hand with the Walmart meme I sent you earlier.
Right.
The South Park meme where they're at the front entrance of Walmart, spelled WALO. And it's just a bunch of fat people, and they're like handing them out the electric carts as soon as they walk in the door.
All right. Well, we've got upcoming events. Before we talk about those, though, I do want to take a minute to thank the Origin sponsors. We had some freaking awesome prize support this year. Don, you did really well by the players. Some great prize support from TT Combat. Rich over at Green Stuff Industries did the custom drop zone and drop fleet glasses for me. That was really cool to be able to hand those out. First place got those, as well as the Bats by Mars gift certificates. So they were able to walk out of there with about $100+ for the prize support for winning the whole thing, which was very cool. Rich also sent me some markers, a Nijmegen bridge, some storage containers, some 10 mil, just a variety of things that he has from his webpage, which was very cool of him. Widget Wizards gave me some templates, some landing templates and blast templates, which only one of them will be valid in version 2. We didn't talk about that, but it was very cool of them. They also sent their really sweet objective tokens that I know you and Jordan both used on. As well as some various markers and whatnot.
I think currently he's got the best tokens in the game. I like how big they are.
Yeah,
it's very easy to read everything.
There's no question about what they are.
Yeah, exactly. So,
see, Widget Wizards, Green Stuff Industries, Mass by Mars, TT Combat. I think that's it. Those were all my sponsors. Really great batch prize support. It was a small zone tournament. I'm sorry, there's a train going past my house, and apparently it has to blow its horn every 5 seconds. So if you're hearing that, I apologize. But everybody walked out with something in zone. So can you hear it?
It's really loud, yeah.
Yeah, my house is literally like 5 houses from the tracks. So
I'm about the same, yeah.
Yeah, it's just this asshole comes through, and every time he comes through, it's like every street, he just lays on the horn before he hits the street until after he's over the street. It's like, dude, we know you're there. the entire town knows you're here. There's 6,000 people in this town. Every one of them knows that you crossed the street.
That's why everyone in that town is insomniacs, because the damn train comes through at 11 o'clock at night.
Jesus. Thanks to all those sponsors. It was a good time, as it often is. I'm hoping that next year is going to be even better. There's a lot of excitement around version 2. So next up is Gen Con.
Yep, that's 6 weeks away, man. That's real close.
Jesus.
So our events currently aren't doing so hot. Unfortunately, our attendance has been pretty low. Hopefully it picks up now that the book's out and everything. To be honest with you, though, Gen Con's more of a sales thing for us anyway, so I'm really not that big a deal as far as the attendance on that goes.
You know it's not a sales thing for you, though?
What?
Michigan Grand Tournament.
It is not, so that one I want filled up. And in fact, well, let's recap Gen Con real quick. So we're going to have the full crew out there again, and hopefully we'll have some more Stellaris information by Gen Con, because it's I do believe we have 1 or 2 Brits coming over for that, more purposely to deal with that. So hopefully we'll see that, and then maybe Paradox will be over there since we're heading out there. I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on any of that stuff. And what else do we have going on at Gen Con?
Carnivale narrative event, Drop Fleet narrative event, Rumble Slam tournament.
Yep, and Drop Zone tournament. So first official actually using the second edition rules in the U.S. So I don't know, poor Schlub's going to be TO in that yet, but sure you can't come out for a day, Derek, run that for me?
If you can provide a hotel room for my wife and kids, yes.
I can. It's not going to be very comfortable for them with 6 people already in that.
Then I'm going to have to go with no, Scott.
Yeah, Gen Con's always crazy. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what we're going to have available by then that came out in the book. So my personal guess, since I actually haven't asked the office yet, is that we'll definitely see some new Resistance stuff, since there's a lot of ships that still have to come out for that. And
Behemoths?
I don't know. I really don't know if we'll see Behemoths by then. They're a really big kit. We're still working on getting those going.
And is there enough resin in the world yet to make them?
Exactly. And as of now, we haven't even shown off the stats for them yet. So I think that's going to be, my personal guess is that's going to be closer to holiday time frame.
All right, so Michigan Grand Tournament.
Yeah, so the Michigan Grand Tournament, it's the tournament I run every year in Lansing, Michigan. You can just go to the Michigan GT website. It's just michigant.com, I believe, is exactly what it is, and you can sign up for those events there. We do the combined drop fleet, solo drop fleet, drop zone, but combined overall winner, that's the origins of that format, is from the Michigan GT. And it was sort of my way of rewarding people for playing both tournaments at what was a smaller event at the time. So now that's grown, and we're getting people from out of state, and we even have people that were at Origins saying that, hey, we're thinking about the GT this year, so it's really taken off, and I'm super happy about that. Also,
that's because we keep pouring it out on here.
Yeah. Well, that, and I think everybody just has a good time, and people see that being posted. So, you want to go to the tournament, everybody has a good time at, The other thing about that is first Carnivale event that I'll be putting together. 3 narrative missions, I will say, because it's not really a tournament. It's just going to be more of a story-driven event, because it's not really like a tournament kind of a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I want people to just have fun playing the custom scenarios,
And then there's the Rumble Slam narrative event.
Rumble Slam tournament Friday night. So it's the only one I can get away with on Friday night, because it's just an hour rounds, 3 1 hour rounds. Come on out, toss a bunch of people out of the ring, and then move on from there. I think I'm going to start changing that format going into next year, though, because
you want a narrative Rumble Slam event?
Well, yeah. I think narrative, I'd have to go with the Back Alley Brawl set and see what I can come out with that one. That's a lot of resin pieces to contribute to tournaments, though. But I do want to see what I can get away with as far as the pinning rules that are now out in the
ref boxes.
Ref boxes. So I want to see if it's worth doing a tournament with all pinning, or maybe alternate the rounds. One pins, one's not. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. I want to change that up a bit, though, now that I've got... well, now that Alex has a few tournaments under his belt, because I haven't ran any of them. So, yeah.
Oh, is Alex coming to the GT?
I don't think so. So I'll be running this one. I was just making a joke because I said me, but I haven't run any of those tournaments yet. So, and then the other last thing, two things I want to talk about for the Michigan GT. One is I'm going to have all the stuff there. So all the product, the cases, all that stuff. I'm bringing it all this year. I'm hyping it up. I want it to be a much bigger show, much bigger sales. You can even show up and buy stuff at the GT, because the way that the format is you don't need badges anymore. You buy the event tickets.
So if you don't play, you can just come by.
Badges.
Exactly.
We don't need no stinking badges.
And then on top of that, we're also co-hosting a decent section of the main hall with the Warlord guys. So we'll be right next to each other with our events and our booth space, having fun with each other. It's going to be a real fun event. So if you like either of those games, or if you like Warlord's games but our terrain, you know what I mean, you can come out and do both. And then the final thing I'll tease is that I am currently working on, I did post this with the official post I did on our TT page, but I'm working on a special TO, we're going to call it
a special guest TO.
Celebrity TO, that's what I was thinking of. Celebrity TO.
Since Huey Lewis turned you down.
Yes, he did turn me down.
And Charisma Carpenter turned me down repeatedly.
So I'm hoping to be able to announce that in a couple of weeks here as a for sure thing. But I don't want to get ahead of myself here, so I will leave it as anonymous at the moment.
Oh, the dude in the Guy Fawkes mask is going to come to you?
What?
Anonymous?
Oh, the guy with the... Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
God, I shifted gears on you too fast.
You did.
Sorry. Well, let's move into some final thoughts. Battle for Earth is here. Was it worth the wait? Jordan.
I think so. The book's still a lot to take in, so new stuff is always good, though.
Mm-hmm. Don?
I think it was worth the wait. The quality of the book is awesome. And I think the biggest thing we can take out of this is that the community can now go back to the game. You know what I mean?
We can stop bitching about speculation and start bitching about what's in the book.
Exactly. Well, at the very least, if you care about what's in the book, you care about the game, not just showing up to bitch out on the page. And beyond that, the amount of people who are posting their battle reports and things like that has skyrocketed on the page. So it's been really cool to see all that stuff going on. You know, people getting really hyped. Even the orbital bombardment guys are getting their stuff back out to give version 2 a decent enough run before they decide if they like it or not. So, and that's kind of the gold standard, I would say, since they are the OGs.
Piffed. I mean, right. I absolutely think it's worth it. It was worth the wait.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, and I never expected it to be because nothing ever is.
And you're too high class for that.
I'm. You know what? I'm a picky asshole. I make no bones about that. But what it has done is it has sparked that interest in the community, which it just desperately needed. I've seen guys who haven't played in a while, just down in Columbus, who are already talking about where they're hanging out now compared to where they were, and that they've got the book, and that they're digging their armies out, and they're looking to get play days together. And I've already asked them, just like, let me know when you guys are ready to go, and we'll coordinate, and we'll try to get a really big play day together and just get, a couple dozen people in one place playing, because that's the best way to sell games is to get people playing games.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you got to get a Columbus Day going again soon. I felt bad that we hadn't seen Patrick in so long.
I did too. Are you going to drive all the way down to Columbus though?
Yes, it's honestly not that bad of a drive. So as long as it's not like a 9 a.m. kind of a thing, I could probably do that.
God's honest truth that you'll drive right past me if you just want to stop here. We can carpool again.
That's fine, yeah.
Because you'll go straight down 23, I assume.
Yeah.
So,
he could go straight down 23.
Shut up, Jordan.
Did not take your alternate route, Jordan. I couldn't remember what you said.
I could have given it to you.
Jordan, he's only like an hour and a half from there too. So it's actually probably a better place for him. And we, like you said, we haven't seen Patrick in a while, but Patrick doesn't play zone, so no one cares about him.
Well, I mean, all of our meetups are zone fleet optional, so
I'll leave that in too to find out if he actually listens to the podcast. Not Patrick Warner, by the way. We're talking about Patrick Morris.
Yeah, not
Patrick.
Yeah, sorry, not Swedish Patrick. We know so many Patricks.
Yeah, we've got at least 2 Patricks, and then one's a starfish. I screwed up. All right, gentlemen. Any other final thoughts from you?
My last final thought is I'm really also excited about seeing the resistance kits getting put together already. Just seeing what everybody's kind of trying to do out there.
Oh, who's going to top who?
Who's going to top who exactly? Yeah, I want to see the mega barge between the resistance fleet and the station kit. I want to see those mega barges going.
Has anyone?
Now that you've brought up mega, someone going to use those pieces to try and kit bash a mega maid?
Mega.
You might be able to.
Only person that's kit bashing a Mega Maid is Overlord Shivak for his A-balls.
I mean, there was the one girl who made the dragon out of the space station, or not the space station. Yeah, it was the space station kits and some leftover sprue bits from one of the I forget which factions they were, but she made a dragon out of those at a was it the Hawk did the one thing at Salute?
Nice. Yeah, the station build.
Yeah, station build, and she won. It was a really cool kit. So just goes to show you don't got to put the peg in the hole. You can shave that off and stick it wherever you want.
I'm sorry? What? How you doing, Don?
I think we're actually remiss. I hate to drag it out much further, but we got to talk about our Airbnb for the week. I think it's just too funny.
Jesus.
So I for the last 2 years we've done Airbnbs over hotels at the Origins, because Columbus actually has like a lot of really cool neighborhoods, and it's a lot cheaper, and that's unique to Columbus as far as Airbnb versus the hotel room deals, because all the other cons it's way cheaper to go hotel. But anyways, so I went with a different place this time, and it was above a bar, and the reviews on it said that the bar noise is actually not that bad.
The Old Town Pub.
The Old Town Tavern.
In Old Town.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, there's enough reviews saying it's not bad, so it must not be too big a deal. So I go ahead and get it anyway. It's a really cool place. It's got this cool loft space. We could have easily slept like 20 people in this place.
It was huge.
It was huge. And I was like, all right, cool. We got a pub downstairs, and there's a pizza place and a breakfast place and blah, blah, blah. So all this stuff right there, very easy to. So once you get down with the con, you don't have to drive anywhere. Well, yeah, those people were dead lying about the noise, because it was thumping until 2 a.m. And then I was also remiss to remind myself that it's also Pride Week during Origins every year.
Which is why Jordan went AWOL.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. So
it was like double thumping the whole week.
So we did avoid the one in Short North. Not on any commentary on anyone's preferences or anything. It's just that would be a very busy place, and we wanted to avoid the noise.
Yeah, it didn't work out that way.
And then, yeah.
So to give you an idea how loud this place was, so Jordan, Terrell, and I went and ate in the pub on Saturday. We got out of the show, we got all the stuff packed up, and we drove back and unloaded all my tournament crap into my car, and we're just like, screw it, let's go downstairs and get a Philly cheesesteak and not have to go anywhere. So we go in and we belly up to the bar, and I've got Jordan on my left, I've got Terrell on my right. And it is so loud that I can only talk to one of them at a time, and I had to yell to be heard.
It was headache inducing.
It was like comedy hour, because Terrell and I were commenting on the barmaid, and we were both expecting the music to just stop mid sentence, so it could be really embarrassing. No, it was insane how, like, it's like their dial was stuck at 11. It's like, dude, you could turn this down just a smidge so it would actually be nice in the pub. And we could sleep better upstairs.
Yeah. We have a stark comparison because Jordan and I went on Tuesday. We had a conversation at the table, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, but for only 5 people in the bar, the music was awful loud.
Yeah. I don't know who they were trying to show off, but
maybe we're just old.
Yeah, that's fine, but yeah. So I guess Airbnb renters beware. If it's above a bar, expect it to be noisy regardless of comments. And
now I will flip over and say that the noise didn't keep me up. The goddamn light on the front of the building coming through the window kept me up.
Yeah. That was not in the reviews.
I mean, I woke up the first night we slept there. I woke up and I kind of like looked out the window. Jordan and I were on futons, like right in the living area. And I look over and like the windows are behind Jordan. And I'm like, oh shit, it's got to be like 6 a.m. I get up and go to the restroom and I check my phone. No, it's 3 a.m. I'm like, oh, the bar just closed. That's why it's quiet. But why does it look like daylight outside?
Now, never mind you, the blind is closed all the way.
Yeah.
So, great place. I would recommend going in an off season.
If I were 22 years old, that would be like the apartment I wanted to own.
Yeah, basically you could just get drunk downstairs and walk up a flight of stairs and you're in your bed. So,
I mean, it was a nice property. It was well maintained. It was clean. It was sturdy.
And the pizza across the street was really good.
Oh my God, yeah, it was. I mean, I can't recall many times in my life that I ate 3 slices of pizza and I went, oh my God, I ate too much.
Yeah, so it was a good place overall, just not good for sleeping.
No.
Although I will say that it was much better when I moved it upstairs to the loft and then had my sound machine going. It didn't bug me. I wasn't bothered at all after that.
I averaged about 5 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah, probably about the same. We also didn't exactly go to bed early, so.
No, we had too many games to play.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I forgot to bring up my game that I bought. It was it's called Wasteland Express from what is the company? Hang on a second. Something Saurus Games. Pandasaurus Games. It's from the creators of Dead of Winter and a couple other games.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of did a collaboration on this one, and basically you play. It's the post-apocalyptic delivery service. So you basically driving these rigs that look like.
So you're playing Postman.
Yeah, well, materials more. So imagine your UPS using Mad Max rigs to deliver stuff across a wasteland. That was a pretty cool theme, and the box art is like really in your face, loud, which I like that. So
the one game I wish I would have seen while I was there, Terrell told me about it, and it's been stuck in my head. Someone was playing Gaslands at Origins.
That game is fun. I played it a handful of times.
All the cars were cars from Disney's Cars.
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah, so
Right.
if you don't know Gaslands, they don't sell actual models. Well, I think they actually do sell some models now. But
They
anyway,
may have started. They've at least started selling bits for modifications.
so you more or less you just take a Matchbox car and then you start sticking guns and crap like that on it. And so it's like Car Wars, but like that. And so that's pretty cool. So then, did they actually like outfit them with weapons and stuff like that?
I didn't get to see it, and we didn't talk long about it. But it made me think of a few years ago where someone was playing 40K with My Little Ponies.
Okay.
It was just one of those things where I'm like, that's interesting. Those things don't go together.
It's hilarious though.
Yeah, I wish I would have seen it because I've been intrigued by Gaslands for a while and just never picked it up.
It's cheap enough. It's literally just a book, and then you have to get some token sets because you do have to have the proper tokens, and then you need gates too because gates control areas you can start from when your car blows up, and then also the first gate turns your guns on because you don't have weapons during the initial start.
That's that part of the game that's no fun.
Oh, we can still smash into each other. There's always some Yahoo who tries to do like a quick U-turn and T-bone somebody. So, but yeah, anyway.
So, Origins worth it this year. Good time.
Yep. And
Sold
I
a ton
already
of stuff.
paid for next year's booth already, so we will indeed be there in 2020.
Same size booth?
Same size booth, yeah.
Man, you were like, this is the year I get out of doing Origins. Now look at you.
So, yeah, it'll be a little bit different format last year. So we're going to try to highlight the terrain a bit more and then still bring all the new stuff for the games, but maybe a little bit less on that end. So I didn't need like everything at that show like I did.
Yeah.
So cater to the audience, right? So
right. Bring what they want.
Not what they need. Bring what they need, not what they want. I don't know.
Well, sometimes they'll find they'll get what they need.
Yeah.
That's
all
Rolling
right.
Stones.
So, we done?
Yeah, we're done boring people.
Awesome.
Stick a fork in it.
So yeah, so real quick here, when do we want to get back on, just so we can kind of give people a heads up? I think our turnaround should be quick because we have a lot of Battle for Earth stuff to get through. So
yeah, soon. I would like to put together some teams of players who, get somebody that plays UCM regular. Maybe see if Kirill or Joel wants to get together and chat, and get Josh on to talk about Scourge. Bring Patrick in to talk about whatever Patrick's talk about. You guys can take care of Resistance. I'll bitch about PHR.
yeah,
I guess Patrick can do Shaltari for us.
Yep, there you go. 2 weeks out, give everybody enough time to get their books and games in, and then we'll get back to it.
Yeah, I don't think that should be too bad. If we can get it earlier, we will. If not, then 2 weeks should be solid.
I think 2 weeks because people will still wait on their deliveries as well. So we don't want to spoil a whole lot of stuff before people actually get their hands on the book.
And maybe we'll do a little splitting in between Zone and Fleet. We'll do half the episode Zone, the other half Fleet. Just kind of talk about all the new stuff that's coming for each faction.
Yep, and then we'll get Dave in.
So hop onto the Command Value 1 page. We'll put a poll up. And we'll find out which faction you want us to do first. And we'll go from there.
I mean, actually talk about stats and army stuff and not fart jokes.
Right.
Well, no, if I can find a way to put a dick or a fart joke into a UCM conversation, I'm going to. I mean, I have a reputation to maintain.
There's a lot of storyline there that I'm sure involves pooping of pants. So, especially when a razor worm's gonna chomp on you and your kid. So,
alrighty. Well, hey, if you've made it this far, do us a favor and smash the like button or the subscribe button. Give us a positive review and share us so that we can get a larger than 4-inch sphere of influence. Maybe we can move up to a Command Value 2.
I think we should do a meme contest soon because Shivak has kind of been steamrolling us with memes, so maybe we should just make it a thing.
Oh man, does that mean I can bust out $30 in a handy?
We don't get to do it.
Does that mean I can have Shivak bust out $30 in a handy?
Hate you guys.
Well, that's what you get for doing videos.
Good night.
Night, guys.
Night.
Night.